If you're using version 5 of this software, your background's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be white and your tools are going to be in a slightly different position. Majority of your tools are right in this location right here, and you'll see that this is your zoom tool where you can draw a box around something and zoom in and out. You can also click on the little K to reset your view just like the other version. You can click the home or minus key if you wanted to zoom back out. So let's say I zoom back in. I wanted to put my peak values here. You look for the little diamond with a dot where it says create peak when you look at it, and you're going to click on the peak. And so you can basically do the same thing. So if you click and hold on the K, and you can zoom out. If you are on any other option, you can see inside here you can find other options that are associated with the little diamond. So there's a normalization, integrate, J coupling, etc. So other things show up underneath your K just like the other version. If I wanted to move my spectra around, I can hold the little hand click and hold onto your window, and you can move left to right, up and down. You can move your spectra just like the other software. If I click on the other button next to it, it looks like two little mountains next to each other with some little lines on top. If I click and move up and down, I can make my spectra bigger or smaller. The arrow is just for selection, so if I wanted to highlight all my peaks, I can select one or the other, or I can highlight all of them. If I wanted to, let's say, delete all the numbers, I can do that. This little button here is for phasing and rotating. You see that there's a little line right here. If that line's pretty high, you won't be able to click on peaks, so you can actually use this to go down and move that threshold down. So that line is actually a threshold above which is where you can only click on stuff. This button is for figuring out where your TMS, so if your TMS peak is not exactly at 0, we can set it to 0. Again, that's to pick your reference. This is for your integration, which we're not going to see again until we look at the proton NMR. We don't do integration for carbon. We're not really going to use this button. That's for a completely different purpose that we don't often see. Same thing with a cursor. Here we can name what we have here. So if we look back at if we wanted to delete anything from the spectra, again, we can just click and delete, just like in the other one. You can actually draw structures in your sample, and the other one you can do the same thing, and you can paste it on here. We don't often use that, but it is an availability. And the next one is your picture-in-picture. So if I wanted to click on this to see my picture-in-picture, I can zoom in on the peaks in here, and then I can move these away wherever we want it. Additionally, there are some other options in here. So if you wanted to just play around and look through these buttons, what I would do is make sure that you kind of save your material, what you've been working on, and then you can play around with this just to see what else is there. So there are other kinds of NMR and there are other kinds of information up here. We don't awfully often do that, but you can. If you needed to copy and paste, if you are on a Mac, that's usually who's using this version of the software. Screen grab just that bottom part of your spectra is good, or if you wanted to actually save it as an image. So you need to probably play around with your options for saving your file a little bit more than other people if you have a Mac, because it's a little bit different.